Hello, hello. A couple weeks ago, Time suggested that I do a video talking about the revolution in Egypt and what kind of ramifications that would create in society. He reckoned it would create a lot, and I think so too. I think it's a pretty momentous thing that's going on. Um, yeah, so basically, what happened was we had the president of Egypt, Mubarak, in power for like 30 years. He's a total dictator. Wasn't being fair with the business, creating too much power and wealth discrepancy. Then they ousted him. They had a revolution and ousted him, and then they democratically elected their first president, Morsi, and he'd been in power for like a year or something like that. And but after he got into power, he changed rules, kind of like did what Hitler did, get in power democratically, and then change all the rules. So he changed all the rules. Changed the constitution, made it all more, made it a Sharia law, a Muslim law, and then wasn't doing a good job of taking care of the country. That they weren't picking up the garbage. Country was just falling apart, and so then they had the other revolution where 15 million people were in the streets protesting, which was the largest protest ever, and a million people were protesting for Morsi. And after he got ousted by the army, the Muslim Brotherhood, his party, the extreme the Muslim party, were saying that it was a coup, and that if the rest of the world knew exactly what happened, they wouldn't stand for it because it's against the law, and that they're going to fight against it. And so now people are thinking, oh no, are we going to have like a civil war now because of all the Muslims fighting? And so, yeah, what kind of ramifications are these going to make? Well, I think that these Muslims, man, they put in the Sharia law, the law that's 1,400 years old, the Islamic law in these countries, and they think that that's the best way to do it because they live in Islamic countries, and there's still a lot of super religious Muslim people in those countries, and so they think that's the best thing, because they're all religion, they need to follow the law. But these are old laws, and it's out of date, and it's time for like a religious revolution, and so people aren't going to stand for it. And I think now, because of this revolution, this is like the tipping point. That's actually where the masses of the people are saying, no to the Sharia law, this Muslim law. They're not going to stand for it. And when the Muslim Brotherhood says that they broke the law by ousting him, well, they broke the law when they changed the constitution after he got elected, and then like taking power away from the secular part and bringing it to the Muslim Brotherhood. You can't overstep your bounds. That's legal reasons right there to oust a president. We've impeached presidents before. We impeached presidents for a lot less than that from what he did. So yeah, I think this is the beginning. I don't, and it's funny. See, I think this is the beginning where people in the Middle East are going to realize that being all that Sharia law and like fighting with violence for what you believe is not the way to go. All these Muslims are saying, oh yeah, well we're going to fight even if it gets violent, because that's what Muhammad would do. That's what he says in the Quran. You have to fight, jihad, fire with fire, and so they'll do that, and then they'll get their asses kicked, and then everybody will basically start to realize that, like, look, we don't want to have an Islam religion in our country that's all about violence. Like, we're sick of it. And I think within a year or two, people are going to finally get sick of all the whole violence related to Islam and say, okay, yeah, they'll adapt it a little bit, and they'll say, yeah, jihad means you have to fight with what you believe, with words, not with guns, with words. And then because of that, they'll understand that it's okay to debate, and then people, it's okay to speak your mind and talk about, expanding on all of the religious ideas and making it more modern, allowing more freedom of speech. Egypt is a country that's very old, and they have a lot of pride, and if Egypt can do it, then I think it'll spread to the rest of the Middle East, especially with all of this civil war that's been going on in Syria that's just not ending. Syria is completely gutted now. It's like it's like a it's like a waste zone. So I think that's going to exhaust people in the region as well, and they're finally going to throw up their hands and say, okay, we don't want any more of this. We're done fighting. Let's just talk. Let's just have more of a dialogue and more speaking, less getting upset just because somebody disagrees with me, and it'll get better. I mean, that's what I think and what I hope. But maybe they still have more fight in them. Maybe these people have so much fight left in them that they'll just keep fighting each other and shooting each other for the next 20 or 30 years. And I just hope that they don't, none of these people get their hands on a nuclear weapon and like nuke themselves. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think that within the next 5 or 10 years they'll get their shit together and elect people who are more democratic and speak more. But it's exciting to see all those people just oust the president and get a new guy. I don't think they've elected a new guy in there, but it's I think this is the last straw. I don't think these hardcore Muslims are gonna have much more momentum behind them, because more and more people are starting to realize how really ridiculous it all is, and they're just going to be more and more the laughing stock of the world. Right now, a lot of the Muslims can still lie to themselves and say that America is the laughing stock of the world. But once we get all of our troops back to America, and it's not going to take long for people to forget about all the military imperialism of America. And I think America being less militarily imperial and spending our money on renewable energy and stuff like this instead of the military. We spend 20% of our money on the military. It'll take like 5 years after that until the public opinion will just be, not with America, and it'll be against the violent people in the Middle East, and there's going to be too many people just pissed off at him throughout the world, and they'll finally be like, all right, when we give up, let's just go the peaceful way, and we'll just fight with words, calm words and respectful, and because it's the whole world's watching, and your voice can be heard. All you have to do is upload a video and talk about it. And I think people are going to start doing that. People are in Europe and Egypt are going to start uploading videos and expressing themselves within the next, 5 or 10 years. I think stuff's going to happen pretty fast. I think stuff's really going to start to get changed really fast starting in about 5 years. I think from here to 5 years people will kind of start, but then after 5 years people are going to be like, you know what, let's upload some videos. Let's explain ourselves. Let's talk, and you'll actually be able to have a one-on-one, two-way conversation with the equivalent of a hardcore Muslim in those days, in the 5 years. And if not, we've got a pretty interesting show coming. They're going to give us a pretty interesting war coming down the pipeline, but I don't think that's going to happen. Okay, peace out.